Festival de Film Wert zum ersten Mal in Zürich. Das ist ein Festival des grünen Films, organisiert hier von Nebenrolle Natur.
Systematisch entzogen.
Ich kann Ihnen schon verstehen.
Ich fange mal an. Alles klar.
Hier bleiben diese Leute, werden sich immer wieder befreien können.
Da kann es einem sogar gut gehen dabei.
Ganz einfache Methode fast schon, um einfach mal ins Entmachen zu kommen.
Man sieht mal, was eigentlich alles so passiert auf dieser Welt, wo wir eigentlich gar nicht merken.
Scientists typically define a mass extinction as an event when more than 3/4 of all species disappeared from planet Earth in a relatively short period of geologic time. And geologists tell us that every one of these worst extinctions in the world's history, including the smaller ones, involved a significant element of global climate change and changes in the Earth's polar regions. One of the world's leading experts on sea ice and its interaction with global warming is Dr. Peter Wadhams. How has the Arctic sea ice changed over the last few decades?
Well, it started to retreat in summer around about 50 years ago, and that was detectable then, just about. But the speed of retreat has gone up very rapidly in the last few years, and it's just accelerating all the time. And the last year was the lowest area ever during the summer. There was only about 3 million square kilometres of ice left. The volume of ice that remained last summer was only about 30% of the volume that occurred in summer only 10 years ago. And that's going to lead to a complete collapse of the ice cover in summer. I think that process will continue during the next 2 or 3 summers until it's almost gone. The Arctic is warming somewhere between 3 and 4 times as fast as the planet as a whole. So if the planet warms up by a degree, the Arctic warms up by 3 or 4 degrees. And you get plumes of methane coming up.
If a large methane release was to happen, what would that mean for our planet?
Well, it would mean quite a rapid increase in the rate of global warming, and which has not really been fully taken account of in the predictions of climate models, which themselves are pretty frightening. With the world population going up very fast, if climate affects agriculture in a negative way, we could have a big collision between increasing population and decreasing agricultural production at a time when we need to increase our agricultural production. So that could produce a catastrophic effect much more rapidly than pure global warming. It would be something that would result in famine in a very few years in large parts of the world.
Wenn wir weitermachen wie bisher, dann können wir in diesem Jahrhundert nochmal 5 Grad Erwärmung bekommen. Dann wäre die Erde in einem Zustand, der während der gesamten Entwicklung der menschlichen Zivilisation, sogar der menschlichen Rasse als solcher, niemals vorgefunden wurde, nicht? Und wir würden in ein neues geologisches Zeitalter vorstoßen, nur diesmal menschgemacht. Und wenn eben die Eismassen bei der letzten Eiszeit bis Berlin reichten von Norden, vielleicht würde die Sahara von Süden bis Berlin reichen, wenn wir über die 5 Grad Erwärmung dann wirklich realisieren und die Erde auf diesem Temperaturniveau verharrt.
My friends, the science is clear. It is irrefutable, and it is alarming. If we continue down our current path, the impacts of climate change will only get worse. Without strong and immediate action, we can all expect new threats to critical infrastructure, regional stability, public health, economic vitality, and in some cases, even long-term viability of states.
Also wir bewegen uns zwar in die richtige Richtung, in Deutschland, in Europa, aber viel zu langsam. Der Klimawandel lässt uns leider sehr wenig Zeit für diese große Transformation. Sie muss praktisch bis Mitte des Jahrhunderts zum größten Teil mehrheitlich bewältigt sein. Und das ist das, was mich pessimistisch stimmt und was hoffentlich ein Ansporn für viele Menschen ist. Wir müssen unsere Anstrengungen verdoppeln und verdreifachen, um den Klimawandel noch rechtzeitig in den Griff zu bekommen.
Well, what we've realized is that the level of global warming at which dangerous effects will come into being is lower than what we thought a few years ago. So targets to keep global warming less than 2 degrees Celsius are actually disaster scenarios, because the last time it was 2 degrees Celsius warmer was the Pliocene, when sea level was about 15 meters higher, and it was quite a different planet than the one we see now. If we had started in 2005 to reduce our emissions, we could have reduced them 3% a year and stabilized climate this century. If we start now, it requires 6% per year emissions reductions. If we wait another 10 years, it becomes 15% per year, which is impractical. So we really need to start soon.
Well, it's the Labor Day weekend. Last chance to lounge by that pool and wrap up your summer reading list. Pippa's standing by with the full forecast. Pippa, looks like that nice warm weather isn't quite ready to leave.
I don't know why you would imagine that it would. We've broken thousands of temperature records across the country and the planet this year. In fact, we're heading into the 329th consecutive month with a global temperature above the 20th century average.
Definitely time to light up that barbecue.
Yes, the barbecue.
Pippa, I think the folks at home are probably about ready for that 7-day forecast.
Okay, sure. Let's start up north, way up north. This week, satellites measured the smallest area of Arctic sea ice coverage in recorded history. That's 4 million square kilometers of ice missing since the 1980s. Where did it go? That's bigger than India. And it's happening so quickly, some researchers are now forecasting a summer with no ice in the Arctic Ocean within 10 years. So instead of a bright white sheet reflecting sunlight back into space, that means dark water sucking up even more heat, making it melt faster and faster. Most scientists prefer the friendlier term of feedback loop, but I'm more inclined to call it what it is, an inescapable death spiral.
I think there's a feedback loop in my earpiece, because I believe I just heard myself ask you for the weather report.
This is the weather report. This is what's happening. Scientists are telling us we can put 565 more gigatons of carbon into the atmosphere before global temperatures rise by 2 degrees, which is universally accepted as the threshold of total mayhem. Except if you add up the proven reserves of fossil fuels controlled by the world's energy companies, the oil and gas and coal we currently plan to burn, that amount is 5 times the safe limit. So if you think it's bad now, you just wait and see what hell we're going to unleash once we start drilling under the Arctic and digging up the tar sands so you can drive 3 blocks to get an ice cap. You think all of this extreme weather is a coincidence? You want the weather report? This is a reality report!
So all in all, a great Labor Day weekend and good times for the air conditioner industry.
Until the power goes out, you moron!
In other news, Chavril madness is sweeping the nation. Canada's royal couple of rock was spotted canoodling.
I set out to make a film to save sharks. And I'm in way over my head. But we have a decision to make, and we don't have much time. This is no longer just about saving the oceans. It's about saving ourselves.
The whole landscape of ocean issues has changed. We are going to lose everything in our oceans. The oceans have the potential to go belly up in the next 20 years.
The last time the oceans went down was 65 million years ago, and it took almost all life on Earth with it.
What the oceans do, the terrestrial world will follow.
Human life may not be possible.
These are criminal enterprises. They're corrupting our public officials and subverting American democracy.
People are in a sense of denial.
You can't expect the state and government to educate you.
They know exactly the solutions to all of these problems, but they're not doing it.
Time is running out. It's not about negotiating. It's about trying to survive.
Shame on you! Shame on you! Shame on you!
It's about life.
There's nothing more important than conservation, because conservation is the preservation of human life on Earth.
If we're gonna survive, we've got to go back to the beginning, 3.5 billion years ago.
We can change something if we work together worldwide. So let's do it.